The original idea for the installation came to me when I started thinking about different impossible ways to exit a room. And then I also had this experience some years ago where I was really in a hurry in an airport. And while I was like running through the airport to catch my plane, all of a sudden my suitcase went up and all my clothes and toilet things and stuff was like flying all over the place. I think it's kind of like a classic slapstick thing. I'm not sure whether I've actually seen it in films, but I could imagine there's been made a comedy or more comedies where something like that happens, you know. So I felt so stupid and I felt so annoyed, of course, and I missed my plane. So I've been waiting since then to get an idea that maybe could capitalize on this experience. And actually, this is where this work comes from. The small doors is a more kind of like an attempt to describe a kind of paranoia. This feeling that you are not alone in your own home, that somebody is watching you all the time. Like in Denmark, we have this idea about small gnomes, especially around Christmas. We put them up everywhere in the garden and stuff like that, and, you know. And there's this story that if a gnome moves into your house, everything goes wrong. They steal your things and they make things go apart and break and stuff like that. So really, it's kind of like this idea that small gnomes are living in the walls, you know. And when you go to sleep, they come out at night and destroys your things and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a paranoid piece, but also referring to this kind of very Danish idea about these small supernatural beings that's interfering in your life. All of my work, more or less, is based on personal experience, something that I've experienced myself. And that's also why, for instance, in my video works, it's always me who are actually acting out the part of a comedian or a house painter or something like that. Because I think it would be wrong to hire an actor or a stuntman or somebody else, a friend or something, to go in and play the part in the video. Because I think an artistic statement is also very much a personal statement. And as such, I think it's important that the artist is actually the one acting out what's going on in the video, and not somebody who's been hired to do so. I think the other way around, it would be a bit like if I gave a speech I'd been writing to somebody else and ask them to make the speech without knowing what's in it, because it's not their words, it's not their opinions or their ideas that they're telling about. It would be my ideas. So I think it's important that people know that the statement comes from me. And that's why I think it's important that I'm present in a lot of my work. This show, of course, you can't recognize me in any way, because, I mean, there's no video where I appear or no cast of my head, just a cast of hands and a foot. So, but still, I regard very much the figure hanging from the ceiling as a kind of indirect self-portrait, because it's still very much based on a personal experience I had some years back in the airport. The artist is a person who makes exemplary situations, or take situations and like concentrate them down so they become kind of like emblematic in a sense, you know. It becomes so like a way to take something that we all maybe know from our everyday life, and then putting it on a pedestal or elevating it to another sphere where people sort of like maybe start to perceive situations in a tiny more different way, or a little bit differently, you know, when they go out into reality the next time, you know. The work that I do is very much based on the lack of overall meaning. You can't today go out and say that what you are doing is meaningful because it's based on a kind of religion or political idea, or it's like all these things are kind of evaporated or has fallen apart. So now it's up to the individual to create some sense of meaning surrounding his or her existence. And that's actually what a lot of my work is about. It's kind of like this feeling that you're constantly about to lose your balance because like the foundation, kind of spiritual foundation that you were supposed to stand on or base your existence on is constantly like moving or changing or going away, you know. What I'm trying to do is I try to combine this existential idea or these existential questions with the notion of slapstick humor. The idea I got was like when I saw some of the old Laurel and Hardy movies, where you know people get cream pies shoved into their face and people laugh about it. I was thinking, okay, yes, you laugh about it if you see it one time. You laugh about it maybe if you see it 2 times. But what if somebody, like the entire movie, was like just somebody who kept getting these cream pies thrown into his face, you know? Then would it still be funny or would it be something completely different? So I try. That's actually the basis of the idea behind the video works is I try to take it to the limit. I try to take this thing that may be funny 1 or 2 times and I try to repeat it until it becomes something completely different. Maybe sad or maybe just boring, but it transforms if you stand in front of the video and watch it long enough, you know. I think the humor is, of course, part of my spiritual makeup somehow, you know. I think I wouldn't be capable of making like a very heavy or unhumorous work of art. But also I think when you're dealing with issues, like these existential issues that I'm talking about, which are kind of like heavy. I'm talking about religion, I'm talking about psychology, I'm talking about Camus and Sartre, you know. And in order to sort of like make it more palatable to the audience, I put a little bit of sugar on top of the medicine, you know, in order for the audience not to go away, you know. So that's also kind of the function of the humor in the pieces. It's to make people stay and watch, you know. Obsession to me is, in a way, a loss of control, which this exhibition is also about. It's also about losing control. This strange figure coming out of the ceiling is definitely out of control. And the small doors is, if you think about a person who really experienced this as part of his surroundings, he's probably mentally ill or out of control in that way, you know. He's not in control of his senses, at least. So I think obsession is when you are not controlling your environment anymore, but the environment is controlling you, in the sense that you're obsessed with material things, or you're obsessed with an idea, or you're obsessed with a person. Like if you're madly in love and you start stalking someone around, you're obsessed, you know. So you've lost control of yourself, you've lost control of your mind, or you've lost control of your body. So I think obsession to me is a very negative word. It's really about loss of control.